Hey guys, this is Reproduction, aka Nana 4673, and I'm back in the second reproduction, part 4. Oh, don't fall to the floor, thanks. Yes, I cannot remember at all what happened, so we'll just have to, try to see. I think we were going with Goddess to the demon village thing, and yeah, see if I can remember the voices. Yeah, that's basically it. It was the first time I'd ever seen a village in demon territory, and I was surprised by its breathtaking scenery. So this is the Wind Village. Ah, it's His Majesty! His Majesty! Some village children who had been playing happily with a ball ran towards us the moment we came into view. Wild flowers of every color fluttered in the wind, bringing vibrancy to the village surroundings. They could have come straight out of a fairy tale. The houses along the road were made out of wood, giving a warm impression, which meant that so peaceful. Don't let your guard down. This might be a trick. Right. Goddess watched our conversation through the corners of his eyes, then hurried over to the villagers. Let's make an old womanly voice. My, if it isn't Lord Goddess, you have our utmost welcome, Your Highness. An elderly half-demon woman came out to welcome him. Oh? What happened? What happened? I blinked several times, not knowing what she meant by Goddess's friend, but as soon as I realized, I shook my... Oh yeah, I kinda skipped a couple of frames, I'm sorry. Of course I'm not. I'm the 25th person to have inherited the title of a champion. Immediately after saying that, I regretted it. Surely I'd attract unwanted attention by declaring myself a champion, right? I was a sworn enemy to the demon race after all. Oh my, that means you're a true champion, right? Well, yeah. Her reaction took me by surprise. It was the total opposite of what I was expecting, and I had no idea how to reply. The woman took my hand in hers and shook it excitedly, a delighted smile on her face. I looked away, troubled. Hey, mister, are you a champion too? Real champions are strong, right? Wait, don't... Lisette had transformed into a mountain of the children. They were all standing around him, some hugging him, others climbing on top of him. He looked at me with pleading eyes. Unfortunately for Lisette, the old lady had a firm grip on me, and she felt so touched that she suddenly gave me a passionate hug. I tried to say something, but nothing even resembling a word came out of my mouth. We were attracting a large crowd, and before I knew it, I was surrounded by women from the village. Yay, champion, look over here! Oh my goodness, she's so cute. I didn't expect the mighty champion to be so young. She's so little and cute. Hey, let me touch her too. Enough! I cried out, unable to bear it any longer. The crowd finally calmed down. Isn't it great being so popular with the ladies, oh mighty champion? Shut up! Oh, dear me, I got so excited I couldn't control myself. Please forgive my rudeness. I'm glad you're still as lively as ever, Chief. She's the village chief? That old woman? I could hardly believe my ears. She looked no different to the rest of the villagers, despite being in charge. I could hardly believe this was a demon village either. In my books at home, the villages were much more frightening, with disembodied body parts scattered all over the place, and soil that never went dry thanks to all the human blood they spilled. Hey girl, where going? Still wandering around the imaginary demon village, I was brought back to reality by Goddess' brazen voice. Unlike the village in my head, the scenery here could be described as serene. Maybe this place is special. Yes, that must be it. That's why it's so different to my books. I caught up to Goddess while glancing around. Now that I thought about it, me and Lisette hadn't passed through any villages on our way to the capital. We hadn't wanted to draw attention to ourselves. Glancing over my shoulder, I saw the outside of Lisette playing with the children, carrying a few of them around. Lisette had always been popular with children, especially back home. I leisurely thought about it as I watched them. You're pretty popular at the moment, Lisette. I'm not enjoying it. Oh, really? That one on your left shoulder looks like a beauty in making, you know. Princess! I'm only joking. Anyway, if anyone here is in a friendly mask, so... Oh, yeah, okay. Is that like a foe, maybe, in a friendly mask? I don't know. So don't let your guard down, alright? I won't. I don't... Fiend? What's a fiend? Well, a child had overheard us and asked enthusiastically. Lisette looked at me, pleading for an escape route with his eyes. Good luck, Lisette. See it all as a ran. Then how about we switch places? You're better at this. I advanced forward, ignoring him as he shot me a glare full of complaints. I felt like I ought to apologize to him, but there was nothing we could do now. As long as Lisette has that ring around his neck, we can't go against Goddess' whims. That was the main thing we'd learned in the last month. Goddess had let us have our daily assassination attempts, but he wouldn't let us say no if he wanted to do something with us. If I ever rebelled, he'd threatened us with the curse. It pissed me off so much. You better watch out. I'll make this village your graveyard. I swore that as I glanced at Goddess' back, watching him walking without a care in the world. However... Ow! Bow Wow's face is so weird! Ow, 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 don't pull it! Lisette, newly christened Bow Wow, was playing with the children right in front of me. Bow Wow, lift me higher, higher! Alright, you're so hopeless. There! Let me correct myself. Bow Wow was having a wonderful time playing with the children. Where did that stupid name come from? Well, Goddess was to blame, of course, after he referred to Lisette as the princess lapdog in front of the children. The children made fun of him. Lisette got angry, and they found it really funny. And that's how that happened. And he's having fun. He's seriously having fun. Looks like you're having the time of your life, Bow Wow. Oh, no, of course not. This is all a part of my something. Damn you, Lisette. Everyone was having so much fun, and I was just getting nervous. I felt more and more like an idiot. Annoyed, I mindlessly poked at the cup in front of me, spinning it around with my finger as I glanced around the room. We were in the chief's home, sitting in a large hall with a table covered in food. It was a banquet prepared by the villagers to welcome us. The food wasn't luxurious, but it had clearly been prepared with utmost care. Just looking at it made my mouth water. It made my mother wow. That sounds really funny. In all honesty, when I first heard they were making food for us, I was afraid they'd serve us eyeballs and human organs. It's all just normal countryside dishes. Goddess sat at the very end of the table, chatting to the villagers while enjoying his meal. You look like you're enjoying your village inspection. Yes, it's great fun. He brushed off my sarcasm like it was nothing, making my mood even worse. Then when I tried to eat something, the woman sitting next to me suddenly asked if I wanted some wine. I wasn't in a position where I could relax and have fun, but I didn't have the heart to reject her, so I accepted the drink. The great champion created this village a long time ago. Huh? I gulped down the wine with a sour expression. For a moment I thought she was going to comment on my behavior, but instead she mentioned the great champion. I can't talk today. Seeing a flicker of interest in my eyes, the woman continued. You don't know anything about it, do you? I don't. Well, it did happen over 1,000 years ago. This village was originally a refuge for children who'd lost their parents during the war. It was an orphanage. The great champion took pity on them and proposed to her Majesty, the demon lady, that they turned it into a village. He even helped it to grow and flourish. I remember my own mother telling me a long time ago that the demon lady and the great champion had a banquet in this very hall. Now that I think about it, Lord Goddess loved banquets too, just like the last demon lady. Maybe our grandmothers have something to do with it? What on earth was I listening to? I couldn't get it at all. According to that woman, a champion and a demon lady were on good terms in the past. But I couldn't recall anything like that being written in my textbooks, and it was hard to imagine a true champion getting along with barbaric demons. According to the teachings of Reproduction, anyone caught mixing with demons would be executed immediately without trial. But what would this woman gain from lying to me? Was she trying to confuse us and making us side with the demons? Would Goddess order her to do that? No, even if I was the true champion, bringing me and Lisette over to the demon's side wouldn't change the way the world saw them. And the ridiculous amount of effort required to get on their side would have outweighed the gains anyway. More importantly, I hadn't detected any ill will coming from the villagers. No matter how thick of a mask they were, my sharp intuition would have uncovered their true intentions in an instant. But thinking back to the moment the villagers first greeted us, even if I revised my opinion, my first impression of them was still a sense of innocence. I could still remember how warm the chief felt when she hugged me. Impossible. It can't be true. There's no way humans would work with demons. No way. Was anyone going to tell me where the demons described in my textbooks were? Where were the ruthless, bloodthirsty maniacs I'd learned about? Come over here, Bow Wow! The heartwarming scene made my chest hurt and led to throw up. Miss Champion? No. Don't laugh. You're all evil. Your smiles are all lies. This is a trap. A huge trap. No matter how kind you all are, this is just a lie! Princess? Before I realized it, I suddenly stood up, unable to stand the suffocating atmosphere any longer. The room suddenly fell silent, all eyes on me. Everyone was probably wondering what the matter was. I knew I had to say something, but I could barely move my tongue. Princess! I had to get out. Ignoring Lisette, I turned away and ran. I felt sick. I wanted to throw up. My head pounded as if it's splitting in half. The world around me melted, growing more and more warped and distorted. The trees, the soil, the air, everything felt so fake. Even my breathing felt unreal. I crouched down under a tree, still feeling sick. I trembled violently, even though the air was far from cold. Something I shouldn't have thought about entered my mind. I couldn't think about it. I absolutely couldn't think about it. I thought about how... Princess... Lisette. He'd run after me, worried. I quickly grasped his hand and sought refuge in his eyes. Tell me. Reproduction isn't wrong, right? The demons are evil, aren't they? I'm begging you, Lisette. You're always right. So if you just say so, then surely... Lisette's expression was painful. He remained silent, biting his lower lip as he gazed down at my trembling hands. I tightened my grip, desperate for an answer. After what felt like an eternity, he slowly looked up and said, If you want an answer, then I'll give you one. Unsure if the demons really are a race of absolute evil. We can't be sure yet, of course, but I think we should investigate further and find out the truth. Wait! Do you have any idea what you've just said? Oh, shit. And that's exactly why we have to. What? We can't run away anymore. We can't turn away from the truth. There's no justice in that, just self-satisfaction. True. I'm sorry, I'm back after a short break. I, by the way, am absolutely in love with this piece of soundtrack. It is beautiful. Now, let's go. Stop doing that. Alright. We just said that. But admitting it is basically treason. Princess, what is more important to you? Religious justice, the justice in our hearts. Oh, come on. Oh, my computer's spazzing out. That's... I can't kill those children. Not anymore. Will you execute me for it? For being a traitor? No, I couldn't. That's why we have to do it, Princess. We need to find out what the demons are really like. And what if Reproduction turns out to be wrong? Then it's a champion's duty to tell the world the truth. Champions? Yes, because you're a champion, Princess. If you make a mistake, you have to set things straight. Admitting that you might be wrong is scary, isn't it? I've killed a lot of demons too. Even if I acknowledge my sin, it won't change the past. You're strong, you know. Not everyone can accept that. It's thanks to you, Princess. To me? Yes, I've always been looking at you. The princess who looks straight ahead and follows her own justice. I wanted to be by her side, to serve as her knight. Lisette. Can you stand, Princess? Of course! Who do you think I am? I am the 25th champion, Christina Ransard. I will stand up and fight, no matter what happens. I will never lose my own sense of justice. Come on, Lisette. We still need to thank the villagers for the banquet. Yes! What was right? What was wrong? I'm certain there's no one alive who could tell us that for sure. It was probably one of the most difficult questions in the world, and one that would haunt us forever. If so, then I would give up looking for an answer, and instead search for my own reason, one I could accept. And as we looked towards the setting sun, Lisette and I stepped forth. So tomorrow is the day off in the Demon Kingdom, huh? I should go to sleep. You should. You definitely should. Excuse me. What should I do tonight? Maybe go out? What are your plans for today, Princess? I'll probably investigate the west side of the city. Excellent. There you are. You're both coming with me today. There's nothing excellent about that. I grimaced. We bumped into the worst possible person on our way out. Goddess probably saw my expression, but he didn't react to it. You should be delighted. I should get the volume a bit down. I'm inviting you both out to a banquet tonight. Delighted? I'd love to meet a woman who'd actually go, oh wow, I'm so happy, and fall at your feet as such a proposal. I mean, really. Crap, someone's calling me! Alright, I'm sorry, I suddenly got awfully popular. Now we're back. Oh wow, I'm so happy, thank you, your majesty. God, get the fuck down, music. In the end, we were dragged along anyway. We took our seats at a banquet populated by an ironic number of women. Women, not women. That's one woman more. Women. I'm sorry. Even though Goddess had been so insistent, she paid no attention to us and sat with a large group of women instead drinking wine and laughing with them. What is the point of bringing us here if he's just going to ignore us? Unfortunately for me, Goddess overheard my complaint. What's wrong? Would you like me to pay attention to you? Nobody said anything about... If you're willing to admit it, then I'll treat you with my utmost care. Come, take a seat beside me. Absolutely not. Such a dishonest person. Then again, if you want a seat coated with your own blood, then I'll gladly oblige. Even though you wouldn't go through with it? Of course I would! A woman beside Goddess pressed her shapely bosom against him, as if trying to draw his attention away from me. This wasn't the best time to get angry, but I couldn't help but feel furious at the sight. The woman smiled triumphantly, pleased with the angry expression on my face. Lord Goddess, why dine on unripe fruit when you can have some mature fresh fruit right here? Excuse me? The woman had a red berry between her soft lips. What was she trying to do? As Lisetta's eye looked at in bewilderment, Goddess took the woman in his arms and... Oh. What? Goddess took the berry into his own mouth. Okay. Da-da-da. If it felt this bad to Lisette and I, who were sitting in a fair distance away, I dread to think how the women sitting near them were feeling. Still, it was extremely bold of them to do such a thing in front of their enemies. I didn't feel angry, just humiliated, and lowered my head in shame. I quickly glanced beside me and saw that Lisette had done the same. I'm glad I invited you to. Your reactions never cease to amuse me. And how curious you're behaving as if you've never fallen in love before. I don't need to fall in love. And I assume the princess lapdog has never held a woman either. I live for the sole purpose of serving the princess. I desire nothing more than to stay by her side. Lisette's clear voice was as firm as steel and made me really embarrassed. I was about to pinch him to shut up when I heard him mumble something quietly to himself. That's right, as long as the princess is alive. Well, people have different outlooks on life. Maybe you see it as happiness now, but in my eyes, your lives are utterly boring. We're more than happy to let you have fun, don't worry. It'll be easier to kill you once your brain goes numb from all your activities. But love is a magnificent thing, far superior to assassination that will never succeed, don't you think? It's a bit rich for a something demon like you to talk about love. I feel the steam rise from my head as Goddess taunted me. I could feel my temper rising, so I stood up made to leave my seat, not wanting to ruin the banquet. Princess! Pleasure is one of life's necessities, you know. Ignoring Goddess, I grabbed Lisette by the collar and dragged him out of the room with me. Oh, leaving so soon? We were greeted by the cheerful voice of Kyria, the servant in charge of us. She was carrying a large plate of meat, undoubtedly another dish for the banquet. It must be tough for you, always getting ordered around by that whimsical lord. Oh, no, not at all. He orders us around. He never orders us around. In fact, we servants wish he did it more often. He doesn't, even though he's utterly self-centered. Well, it seems he's taken a liking to both of you. I've never seen him so cheerful. Cheerful. The word was so unfitting, I cringed. The thought of that cheerful Goddess, all bouncy and excited like a little boy, seemed utterly preposterous, maybe. Well, Lord Goddess is a healthy young man. He's at that age, you know. It's natural for him to mess around and get excited around girls. So you overheard us just now, huh? Kyria spoke of Goddess with almost motherly affection. It made me want to ask how old she was, but that wasn't important right now. I'd grown attached to her over the last month or so from talking to her in the morning. Knowing that she'd overheard me insulting the demon race made me feel awkward, and I couldn't look her in the eye. You see, our demons wouldn't understand love, but finding a race as passionate as ours would be a difficult task indeed. We would burn our bodies alive for the ones we love. I wonder if it's because of the strong desires our race holds. If we ever seriously fall in love with someone, we want to possess every fragment of their soul, their entire being. And because of that, losing someone we love is utterly devastating. Just like Lord Goddess' mother, our previous ruler. His mother. Kyria gave me a somewhat lonely smile. Yes, his mother fell in love with a human, and together they had Lord Goddess. However, Lord Goddess' father insisted on living his life as a normal human, so they never made a contact. In the end, Lord Goddess' mother was forced to watch his short life come to an end, unable to do anything. The pain was too much for her, so she chose to leave this world and follow him. As I listened, I slowly came to realize why Goddess' words had been so full of pride. I'm sure he never saw his mother's death as tragic, but noble. He must have respected her for going that far for the one that she loved. Love, huh? But if that was true, then why didn't he act like that? Why did his actions contradict his words? Like when he kissed that woman earlier. I lightly shook my head, feeling oddly miserable for imagining that the woman and goddess. What he did with other women had nothing to do with me anyway. I knew that. Why was I getting so worked up over it? Goddess' words still echoed in my mind, and they wouldn't leave no matter what I did. It was starting to seriously annoy me. I can talk. It's probably because I hate him so much. Yes, that has to be it. Why else would I care about what he does so much? With that rage-inducing matter in mind, I let out a deep sigh. You've really grown, you know. I said that with deep admiration, gazing at his back as the evening sun shone against it. What? You were still a teenager when we first met, weren't you? That's not her voice. We were around the same height back then. How could you do that to me, grow tall in 3 years right under my nose? Why are you getting angry over that? I feel like I'm being left behind. I want to be as tall as you know. You're fine just the way you are, Princess. I mean, please maintain your current height. But it's not helping things. No wonder Goddess keeps treating me like a brat. I drink milk every day too, so why aren't I getting taller? I grumbled to myself as I jogged ahead, overtaking Lisette. It's only natural I have to be taller than you, my princess. I need to be your shield, remember? But I want you to become your shield too. Oh no, I'm unbalanced. This isn't fair. I heard Lisette laugh behind me, and I continued grumbling. Oh, you're laughing at me! No, I'm not laughing at you. I was just reminded of something from way back. What is it? The day I first met you, Princess. Oh, that day, huh? Yeah, that day. Look out! Sorry, you had to help me, but you're pretty good actually. What's your name? I'm Lisette. Lisette, huh? Okay, Lisette, you watch my back from now on. Understood. Lisette, he will do stuff. Yes, now that you mention it, that was the first time we spoke to one another. After that, you did just as I asked and watched my back the whole time. And because of that, I feel safe leaving myself in your hands. I did say I'd put my life on the line, and actually Lisette's voice shrunk for an instant at the sound of footsteps drowning him out. To me too. It sounded like he didn't want to finish his sentence. I stopped walking and turned around, eager to hear what he was actually said. Sorry, your voice was too quiet. What were you saying? Yeah, don't worry, it's nothing. I tilted my head and inquired some more, but Lisette just smiled and wouldn't tell me. But still, he had a happy expression on his face, so I didn't pursue it any further. At that's when I realized if I wanted to see Lisette's face, probably I had to raise my head and look up. You really aren't a teenager anymore, are you? The thought made me feel somewhat lonely, but it made me happy too. What an odd feeling. As we kept walking, I glanced down towards Lisette's shadow and found myself thinking of how big it was compared to mine. Now we can go, finally! I think we're gonna go to the pub, because the pub seems like a nice place and stuff. What's going on here? Oh, I can't remember this guy's voice. Lady Christina, you came too? Only because of all the noise. I could hear it from outside, you know. I told you to stop making fun of me! Isn't that... My, they really are making a racket. Oh no. Come on, don't be so uptight. Have some more. I'd never accept wine from a demon lord. No fighting allowed in this pub, sir. Heard what he said? Cheer up, I wouldn't put poison in wine as good as this. It'd be your loss if you don't enjoy yourself since you're already here. What do you mean since I'm already here? You don't want to drag me over here. I'll bring the princess along instead. No, anything but that. As loyal as ever. That's exactly why I dragged you along instead. I'm pretty sure this will be quite the long video. I'm sorry if that's not what you want, but yeah, we just read that. I don't know what you're planning here, but I won't let you trick me, you hear me? Don't be like that. Come on, I just want a friend to accompany me for a drink. Tell you what, since you seem so unsatisfied, how about a trade? You'd have a sip and I'll tell you a secret only Demon knows. Really? Are you serious? Very. He's in a good mood. What a bad taste. He's just teasing Paul Lucette. I cannot deny that, but he's taking quite a liking to the pair of you. I don't think that's something to be happy about. My apologies, then. Really. Hey, Lucette. Yes? How long have you been drinking here, Phil? Not long. What, Jin's here too? So, Goddess, did you come here to drink alcohol? On work days of all? The paperwork... Go down. Music? The paperwork back at our office is piled up so high it might crush you if you don't get started soon. Come on, don't be a killjoy. Why not join for a drink too? The other civil servants were practically in tears begging me to bring you back. I still have a lot of work to do, so no, I cannot join you for a drink. Oh, that's a shame. If you still got work to do, shouldn't you be heading back? What kind of man do you think I am? The chores like paperwork take a matter of minutes for me, and since Chris came all the way here, let's sit back and enjoy ourselves. Hey, Goddess, don't touch the princess' hand! I can't hear you. You! Like I said, no fighting in my pub, please. Oh dear, nobody's afraid of the demon lord these days. Well, that was fun. Let's go to the pub again then. I was so bloody close. Now, Dr. Samuel, you're drinking too much. I'll drink as much as I want. I was one whole step away from curing Gerard fever. Then the higher-ups said my contract was expiring and they weren't gonna finance my research anymore. And I can't buy the materials I need for the medicine. What were the materials again? They were 4-colored coal, holy water, demon killer wine, tears of the sun god, and tears of the moon goddess. I'm gonna write that down because we are most likely gonna use that. Give me... How many seconds do I don't really feel like pausing, so give me... What should we say? 30 seconds? 30 seconds? Give me 30 seconds, please. From now. Alright, come on. Open notes. It takes a fucking 100 years for the notes to open. It's not fair. Come on, notes. I know you can do it. Notes! Why are you so slow? You don't even know how slow my fucking computer is. You don't even know. Alright. 4 color... Holy vase... Demon dead. Damn, I'm already too late. Tear. No, not read. Tear. Tear sun. Tear moon. Not year. Tear. Fucking autocorrect. Okay, I got it. Oh, you can get the... Come on. By helping out at the theater. Oh, actually, wasn't the performance cancelled after the Lunaria Festival incident? I wish the ingredients would just fall from the sky. Okay, and the hit. Oh, and now it just stands here. Come on. Okay, so we have to help him. Gotcha. An whole day goes by so quickly. I should go to bed. You should. Now there's a new scene! Diff ride, 3rd month. I'm bored. I don't want to skip this scene. Why do you always... Huh? I couldn't understand why he'd suddenly say such a thing. The Demon Lord gave a melancholic sigh. Seemingly bored, elbow on his armrest and chin on his hand. You barely even try with your assassination attempts these days. They're mediocre, banal even. I'm getting bored. Come on, where's your spirit? Try and kill me seriously, just like before. He was asking us to do horrible things to him, yet he sounded like a little kid having a tantrum. His retainers just stood there and smiled, watching their spoiled child getting more and more obsessed with this new toy. Hey, aren't you guys retainers? Are you sure it's okay for him to act like that? Maybe I should try and attack him more. Wait, I thought I did plenty of times already. I haven't given up or anything, I'm just busy at the moment. With what? Ecological research. Sounds like fun, count me in. Well, it's more like demon something if you're in one of our research subjects. Don't be an idiot, no one would ever work alongside their mortal enemy. There is someone standing here who would. Fine, if you want me to beat you up that badly, then bring it. My deepest apologies for disturbing your fun, but Lord Goddess is scheduled to depart for Hazel's Day. Oh, now that you mention it. Are you going somewhere? Sorry, you must be really lonely when I'm not around. Wait for me anyway. I don't get lonely at all, not one bit. So stop worrying and go away. Even though you're so in love with me, you come to see me every day. I'm not in love with you. I'm just making sure you haven't run away. Oh, well, if you say so. You're so dead. Alright. Once I get back, I'll play with you as much as you want. Goddess sprung towards the sky, leaving with his snide comments. For goodness sake, that's not what I... My cry was in vain, for the black-winged demon lord laughed heartily as he flew off into the distance. Well, where did you get all that confidence from? Well, Lord Goddess seems to be having a lot of fun these days. I can feel it too, as his assistant. Goddess assistant, Jin, shuffled in the documents in his hands and smiled at me. Didn't really think he was the demon lord's right hand for smiling like that. I didn't mean he looked unreliable, just harmless. When we first met, I was shocked, because Jin barely looked older than me, yet he held the incredible important blah, 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 blah. Well, as a demon, he looked quite young, but his actual age made him a lot older. With long silvery hair that fell to his back, a slim, sleek body, and feminine face, Jin could easily be mistaken for a woman. Really? The dark green ribbon. Alright. I heard it, he got. I love how it just skips stuff, I'm sorry. Jin, I know I said this before, and I don't think I need to say it again, but I'm here to kill that guy, remember? Yes, I remember you have said it several times now. Then, I'm a lot more observant than I look. If you were someone who had to be killed, you would have died the first day we met. For barely an instant, danger flashed from the depths of Jin's smile. My body froze for a brief moment, but Jin's expression quickly returned to normal. He smiled cheerful once again. Anyway, didn't you want to do some ecological research today? Yes, that's my plan. We were enemies, so I had every right to lie to him. But for some reason I couldn't. It had to be his perfect smile, a pure smile, without any flicker of evil. I could still recall Goddess complaining about how unfair it all was. He wanted me to be just as obedient with him. I see. Well, then have a safe trip. Lord Jin! Just as I was saying goodbye to Jin, the door suddenly burst open and a loud voice cried towards us. I turned to look, startled, and there stood a soldier gasping for breath. What's the matter with you? Aren't you being rude to our guest? My deepest apologies, sir. You seem anxious, however, so I'll assume the information you're bringing is just as important, am I correct? Yes, I just received a report that Wind Village is being attacked by a champion. Wind Village! A familiar name sent a jolt through both of us. Goddess had taken us to Wind Village about a month ago. It had been a while, but I still pictured the serene, flower-filled landscape of the village. But now... Are the villagers alright? Lisette had gone along with the village children, and right now he was the most anxious of us all. Unable to keep his cool, he pressed the soldier for more answers. We don't have any details yet, so the soldier stuttered. He hadn't expected Lisette, a human of all things, to be so concerned about it. Lisette. If I hadn't been there, Lisette might have rushed to the village there and then, his teeth dug into his lips, and seeing the blood drip from his mouth made my heart ache. He must have decided to stay here only out of concern for me. Knowing Lisette, he would have wanted to run over the village right away. But this is the fate of the demon race. There's nothing we could do about it. I tried repeating that to myself in my head, but a feeling of absolute disgust rose within me. I felt like throwing up. From a human perspective, killing demons was common sense. There was nothing wrong with it. I kept trying to tell myself that to calm myself down, but it just made my body tremble more and more. Come on! My brain couldn't accept such reasoning, but my brain could accept such reasoning, but my heart couldn't. Do I want to save those villages? The moment I realized that, my confusion doubled. I came here to kill demons, but now I wanted to save them? How ironic. I opened my mouth. I wanted to say something, anything, but nothing came out. Unable to stand it, I bowed my head instead. Jim glanced from me from the corner, and his eye then turned back to the soldier. From what I remember, there's a self-defense team at the Wind Village. Did they help the women and children escape? Unfortunately, the champion brought a large group of skilled fighters with him. They struck before anyone... Wait! Excuse me, someone came to see me. They brought a large group of skilled fighters. Yeah, anyone had to get away. Those words shattered my hesitation in an instant. I made my decision. Lisette! Yes! We still need to express our gratitude to the villagers. They may be demons, but we cannot forget another's kindness, so doing so would be an insult to the title of knight. Lady Christina, where are you going? We're going to the Wind Village, Jin. Not for God's sake, but to fulfill our own desires. Are you going to stop us? Of course not. I'll leave it to you too. Come on, Lisette. Yes! I cannot stand how Lisette sounds so freaking girly while Christina sounds like a fucking badass. Oh well. I left the throne room, adrenaline boiling through my whole body. The evening sky burst into my vision, making me even more restless. This is... My body froze, words failing me. Excuse me, needed a cup of tea. Words failing me. Before me was no longer a beautiful village full of flowers, but a mountain of rubble. It was completely different. I even wondered if I'd taken a wrong turn for a few moments. But the board beneath my foot, informed me otherwise. Welcome to the Wind Village. The village of flowers was carved into it. There were no flowers on either side of the road stretching into the village, just blackened wood. When I took a closer look, I couldn't even see a few burnt corpses hidden within. The small stream flowing beside the village was tinted red. There were still chunks of raw meat bubbling up and down in the water. It felt too surreal. It was like I stepped into hell, a scene gruesome enough to put battlefields to shame. A scream flooded my ears, knocking me out of my stupor. Without wasting a moment, Lisette and I ran straight to the source. Stop! There too! I clicked my tongue in frustration, another blood-curdling scream, this time from a different direction. Lisette! I'm on it! Lisette knew exactly what I meant and quickly ran down the different road. I took the other fog, looking for the first scream's owner. As I reached the courtyard, the corpse of a young girl rolled into sight. The green grass, stained red, reflected the sinister radiance of the evening sun. Standing in the center of the square was a man, mercilessly stabbing a blood-stained sword through the chest of another child. The moment I caught his eye, the man gave a vulgar smile and slowly drew his sword out of the child's body. No, you're here to kill demons too, champion. Rage exploded from my chest. but at the same time, I cannot end the episode here, but it's already very long. I'm sorry, but I have to continue for at least a little while longer. I'm sorry, okay, but I cannot end it here. Rage exploded from my, I just think, a change of doubt floated in my mind. Was he doing something wrong? Wasn't I slaughtering half-demons myself only a few moments ago? There was nothing wrong with it. They're disgusting creatures of sheer existence can never be forgiven. Forgiven? By who? Who will forgive them? The pool of blood crawled towards my feet. If their existence was utterly unforgivable, then why was their blood such a vivid red? Why? I hate to break it to you, but all the shit in this village is dead too. Already. You just have to go somewhere else if you want any merit. Still grinning, the man triumphantly turned away and left. His back showed no sign of remorse, only the raw pleasure of defeating pure evil. I wanted to kill the man, but also recognized him as a fellow champion. Those conflicting emotions left me struggling for breath. I embraced myself, gripping my clothes to try and subdue my beating heart. I opened my eyes wide, letting the tragedy around me sink in. And at that moment, I heard a weak groan coming from the mountain of dead bodies. Without wasting a single second, I rushed over. I could see a woman's body, twitching. There. I gently scooped her up in my arms and shook her lightly. Hey, hang in there! You're that champion from before. I gazed at the woman's face. As I gazed at the woman's face, I gasped. I knew her. She was the woman who poured me a cup of wine that day. I'm sorry. I couldn't save any of you. My voice trembled, but the woman responded with a smile. A smile unthinkable considering her injuries. It felt sharper than the tip of a knife as it switched and driven straight through my heart. Nobody would have blamed her for despising me, but her smile never wavered as she whispered softly, gently. Marina. Huh? That's my name. I'm sure you're the only one left who can still remember it. Marina. Huh? I am Marina, my dear champion. Marina. That's right. Please don't ever forget my name. Dying without anyone remembering is just too lonely. I won't forget. Keep it tucked away in my heart for as long as I live. Thank you. Her smile bloomed like a beautiful flower, yet it sent a deep, pulsing pain through my chest. I couldn't do anything. I could only watch as she slowly closed her eyes. The woman with such a kind voice and bright smile was now lying in a pool of blood. She was still smiling, but her body would never move again. A champion had passed judgment on her for the sin of being alive. Fuck, this is dark. No. That's wrong. She had been killed. Mercilessly, brutally killed. And she tried to run away. When I came to that conclusion, I noticed two transparent droplets on Marina's pale skin. It took me a few moments to realize they were my own tears. It was absurd. Laughable even. Wasn't I a champion myself? Since when did I have the right to cry for the demons? I don't know how long I sat there for. As the mountains changed color in the twilight, I slowly sensed someone standing behind me. I turned to see who it was and... Are you the one who did this? I could see God is standing before me, but I couldn't process his words. Everything felt so vague and blurry. Goddess walked silently towards me and spoke as if he'd drawn his sword. I'm asking if you're the one who did this. He grasped hold of my shoulders, his words finally sunk into my head. He was asking if I'd been the one to make that mountain bodies. I wasn't surprised he came to that conclusion. I'd be expecting a fight, so my sword was drawn lying beside me. I was the only one alive, and my clothes were covered in blood from holding Marina. I wanted to say no, but what was the difference? What was the difference between me killing them now and me killing them in the past? I've sent countless of demons to their graves. I can't deny that. Even so, I had to say something to them. However, no matter how desperately I forced myself, only a hoarse whisper came out of my lips. Goddess' face grew distorted. Is this what you call justice, Christina? Justice. I declared that word time and time again, but now it sounded utterly ridiculous. As I went back in time, I met my past self. If I went back in time and met my past self, I'd demand her to tell me why this brutal massacre of innocent lives could be called justice, even though she probably said it's because of this something. Goddess' face went deep red, furious at my inability to say nothing but that word. His eyes narrowed with fierce wrath, the evening sun reflected in his dark pupils. I see. Then take your foolish justice to hell! His large hands grabbed my neck and raised me high into the air. Was he trying to break my neck instead of suffocating me? His strength of grip was astounding, giving me no room to retain it. Tears flowing down my cheeks, not from the lack of action, but from the sheer agony of it. I wasn't expecting to die like this. My thoughts blurred and faded, my mind sinking into the darkness. All that remained in the final corner of my consciousness was the realization that this was it. Princess! Before I lost consciousness, Lisette's cry made me open my eyes. Lisette. Stop it, Goddess! The princess was trying to save them! Goddess released his strength and I plummeted to the ground. Lisette immediately rushed to my side and held me, glaring furiously at Goddess. Can't you use that head of yours? The princess would never kill anyone that ruthlessly! Yes, you're right. I'm sorry, Christina. This was any other day, then Goddess apologizing would be unthinkable. But the fact that he did revealed how much the tragedy had affected him. That's normal. Seeing your people you got along with like that, there's no way anyone would keep their cool. Can you stand? Yeah. I tried to stand, but my feet shook dangerously. Goddess immediately held out his hand, trying to support me. But only for a few moments. Suddenly Goddess got startled for some reason and turned away with an anguished look on his face. His hand, which had held my own only a few seconds ago, was now curled into a fist, and he was glaring at the soot-ridden ground, at nothing in particular. Goddess, I'm sorry. His trembling voice sounded like nothing like his usual self. You apologized earlier, so it's okay. I wanted to chase after him, but Lisette grabbed my shoulders and stopped me. We should let him be for a while. I watched his back fade into the distance and felt the weight of his sorrow, his regret, all of the feelings he couldn't express to us. And the darkness of the night soon followed. That was great! I'm glad that happened. Now I can finally end the episode, which has been way too long. I'm very sorry, but I had to close that. I cannot make a cliffhanger like that. I'm not that evil. See you guys. Goodbye.